Okay, after saying for a while that I was going to do this, I'm actually finally doing it. Please excuse the mess, I'm in the process of getting ready to move. This is my race rig that I have. It is a Velocity Racer chassis and seat with a Logitech G27 pedal wheel gear shift setup. Seat's comfortable. I find it braces you on the sides and lateral support is good. It doesn't move, but at least it's on wheels, so if you need to wheel it out of the way, it's good for that. Pedal mount could be a little bit better. It's just little tiny rails that don't allow it to really bolt down, so it does move side to side a bit. I normally just adjust it when I'm sitting in there. I did move the pedals, the gas and brake closer together, the clutch out a bit, that way my big feet don't hit it too much. I also got just a regular little rocket fish phone mount for a secondary display. Works well, except for the fact with the GT27 it's really rounded, so I had to put a old cratered external hard drive there and tape it there, so it looks kind of funny, but hey, it works. I'll make it a little bit more elegant once I move, but I'm not worried about that right now because I'm moving. Got two displays, a 46-inch Sony TV and another little 24-inch secondary display, which I use mostly just for video card graphics stats and computer stats. I also have an Alienware X51 full tower. I splurged on that. It has liquid cooling, it has active venting on the top, so that I took a long time to set it up, and I have it set so that once the internal case temperature hits 28 degrees, the top vents actually will open up and allow some more air to escape. And it helps keep it cool. I don't think I've had the internal case temperature get more than 30 degrees anymore since I did that. With the active venting at default, it was getting up to about 32, 33 when I was pushing it hard. There's only a little GTX 660 in there, and I haven't started overclocking that too much lately. I'm trying to get a good baseline, so I'm just yabbling on here. Anyways, I'm going to show you, I've modified a few things in the iRacing initialization files so that while I'm actually in a race, it simulates some head movement. And I found with the default iRacing ini settings, and display settings and so forth, it seemed like your head was locked to the movement of the car. It didn't matter what the car was doing, your head was locked to it. So you hit a bump, you jerk, and so forth. In real life, your car hits a bump, your head isn't locked to the car, it moves a bit. You have a neck, your head moves. So I found it was really unnatural, especially since I do some lapping events and that in real life. So I just thought it was kind of funny, so I fiddled around with them a lot, and I'll show you guys what I have set up so far. I'm just loading up a quick time trial here so that I can do a lap or so in Laguna Seca, which I find has lots of hills and such, so it'll give you a bit more of an idea as to what I'm talking about there. I have iRace Dash for Android on my phone here, which does live telemetry from iRacing straight to my phone for gauges. I have it set up for some default things. I have my RPM, gas, brake, gear shift, speed, and so forth. One thing I do like is the bar here is start finish line, and the entire racetrack. While you're actually in a race, it'll show the position of each of the cars relative to you, so you can actually see what's going on there. In my graphics settings, I have everything on high detail with the exception of 2-pass, which I disabled. I didn't find any difference between frame rates with it on and with it off, nor did I see any difference in graphics ability. It might be just because it's an older TV. It still runs 1080p, but hey. The other thing is I had to disable any frame rate limiters, whether it be in iRacing, VSync in here, or even on the the NVIDIA settings itself, because as soon as I hit that, it would halve my frame rate and I'd get obscene tearing. So I disabled those, and even though every once in a while I'll get a little bit of tearing when I get up into the 200s for the frame rates, it's normally pretty good. And if I'm in traffic, like at the start of a race with a rolling start, I never drop below 70 with everything at high. So I'm quite happy with that. Now onto the time trial, like I was saying. As soon as you start in, with the iRace dash, it's all really responsive. I also have everything on the display here so that you can see what's going on. But for the initialization settings and display settings, as you can see in here, the cabin actually moves around without you having to move your head. I don't have track IR, I don't have anything else like that. It just, as the track moves, as the car would move, just like your head does in real life, it tries keeping the horizon level. This does that itself. Whereas, especially on the big hills on a track like Laguna Seca here, normally the regular iRacing, when you start going uphill, you're looking straight up at the clouds. When you start going down the hill, you're looking into the dirt. With this, it keeps the horizon nice and level, and you can see the car move relative to you. So I found that really works nicely for getting more of a feel as to what the car is doing. I didn't do it as drastically as I could have, but I also set a little bit of look ahead. I forget what the actual setting is in the thing, I've fiddled with so many. But as you corner, it actually starts looking a little bit towards the apex for you. But I found some of them, especially if they were high levels, would just really mess you up a lot more, so I put it a very subtle effect. But as I come up to the corkscrew here, see I'm coming uphill, you can start seeing more of the dash because the head's staying level, but the car is going uphill. Gives you a real sense of if you're going to get unloaded or loaded, what side of the car is lower than the other, if it's being upset. Now, Laguna Seca is a more extreme course for the gradient changes, so sometimes it does get a little hard to see, like in that instance. But I find on most of the other courses it works really well for figuring out what's going on. I'm going to see if I can clip a curb here, just to give you an idea as to what happens when you hit a bump. And that didn't really do so good. I'll hit another one up here and then quit, just to give you an idea, but you can tell when your vehicle is going to upset a little bit more, or if a tire hits something, because the vehicle will move in your screen without you having to actually do too much. And it keeps the vehicle moving, but your head level, so you can still focus on what's going on without your whole view being disrupted. Works nicely. I have no complaints, and it gives me good practice for an iRacing. And in real life. I use a softer setups than most, so it works nicely because my car in real life is a really soft suspension. Feels more at home that way. I will post the second video here eventually where it will showcase some of the settings that I have on my computer and how it looks like at night, because with my tower it has LEDs on it all over the place, and I just find it looks really neat the way I have it set up, because my computer case I always have with lights going on all the time, but when you're racing you don't want the distraction of lights changing in that in your peripheral vision, so it actually shuts off the lights automatically after doing its little light dance as soon as the application starts, and then as soon as the application stops it pops the regular lights on again. This is my race rig. I'll give you another quick little overview. It's not too bad. It's relatively inexpensive, not including the computer and monitors, of course. The seat, pedals, and everything else, that ran about $800 Canadian, so it wasn't too bad. Definitely not the least expensive setup there is, but it's definitely nowhere near the most expensive that I've seen. Thank you.